Limgrave is silent, it is green, it is the land preserved in the Golden Order. However, in front lies an infection, a bioprint of an anomaly that is from ancient times, an open wound preserved in an age. On one side, the grass is lush, but on this side, the soil is the color of dried meat. This transition feels forced. When someone steps into this land, the temperature doesn't just rise, it feels heavy. And the smell hits first. Someone expects a nose blinding miasma. Someone expects a smell of battlefield, but Caelid smells like fermented, warm fruit with dampness of mud. It smells like a land after the rain that has retained water. There is also a hint of burning wood. The sky ahead is red, not because of the sunset, but because of the scarlet inflammation. It's veined, it's red, it's inflamed. The clouds here do not really drift, they hang low and heavy. Swirling in the patterns that mimic the flow of blood in water. The atmosphere feels bruised, as if the capillaries of cosmos have burst above and infected every single thing on this land. The dirt here feels like scar residue mixed with foul water. The land is fibrous, it's warm, and it's pulsing. Everything that's alive here has adapted to live with this rot. There is biology here that defines all laws of known anatomy. It talks in dreams, it leads to a dimension where known geometry has vanished. And looking at the horrors of Caelid, anyone can refuse to set foot in this land. They can hear things that have never been witnessed before, but those voices, they promise the knowledge beyond cosmos, the knowledge that predates the Golden Order. Because this land may be cursed, but it's far from barren. The trees here are leafless. They twist in agony. They're not growing towards sun, but they are recoiling from the ground. Their bark is gray and stripped, like old bones left out in the sun. And look at this. It does not fly. It sits heavy on the branch. Its wings are atrophied and useless. It just waits. But watch the head. It twitches. It's listening to my heartbeat. And in the distance stands a minor earth tree. It shines of gold, but here, in this light, the gold looks sickly. It doesn't look holy. It looks like a parasite that is losing a war. The rot is climbing the trunk of the tree. Even the gods here are being eaten. On your path, you come across these rotted corpses, and they walk with the purpose of serving a higher being. Maybe it's a reminder or a threat to turn back. And there are these creatures up ahead on this road. This is not natural selection. Evolution takes millions of years to select for size, but this happened in decades. This is hyper-evolution. The rot here accelerates the cellular growth, but it ignores the structural integrity. The creature's head is too heavy for its spine. The front legs are basically useless, and it drags itself on a sheer muscle hate. It must be in agony. You can hear it whimpering between the roars. The rot here feeds it enough to keep it growing, but it refuses to let it heal. It takes away everything from it. It is an engine of pain. And these crows, they are apex predator. They have grown so large that they can not longer fly. They can only hop and crush. I feel watched, not by eyes, but by biology itself. Every step I take sends a vibration through this red soil, and I get a distant sensation that the ground is sending a signal ahead of me, telling everyone that a foreign object is coming. Now, from distance, I thought these were rocks, but the close inspection reveals something far worse. Look at the texture. It's porous. Hundreds of thousands of tiny holes clustered together like interior of an ancient lung. If you touch it, it's hard as stone, yet it's warm. These are not stones. It is a vast, intricate network of life, pumped out of the earth by rot. It triggers primal revulsion, a fear of the cluster. These pores, they are venting something. If you listen closely, hold your breath, you can hear it. We look at this place and we imagine hell, but the merchant told me that things here have order. The purpose of the rot is to grow and decay. It leads to death. It's not a chaotic land, it has its own divinity. The trees here have distinct art and purpose. They are sucking up the rot from the soil and storing the excess toxicity in the rat sacks. When they burst, the fog gets thicker. The trees are not dying, they have been repurposed. They are lungs of this place, pumping the infection back into the atmosphere. The elevation here drops. The air gets thicker, and you can taste the spores. It tastes like fermented air with honey droplets. The ground here is spongy, and it squelches wetly under your boots. You step on the soft palate of the world, and the red fog, it gets dense. Here you navigate by the sound alone, and the sound itself is changing. The wind has not died down yet, but the flies are gone, and it's the sound that leads you somewhere hellish. I said earlier that Caelid was a wound. I was wrong. A wound implies injury. A wound implies something that is broken. This place is not broken. It is working exactly as intended. This is a wound, not a scar. And finally, I am at the source of my dreams. It is beautiful, but I am still separated from it. I'm looking at it through a lens, breathing it through a filter. The voice, the one that promises knowledge, it screams. It's telling me that protection is rejection. You cannot understand the ocean if you refuse to get wet, but here I can't breathe. My lungs, they feel full of roots. I can feel them growing. It doesn't really hurt, but it feels full. It feels crowded. Even though the pain is excruciating and my skin feels like it's tearing off, the pain is just the body telling me that old shape is breaking and the old shape must break. How arrogant. You cannot categorize a god. The voice, it was right. You here accept the order. Here you see the cosmos, you see the rot, you see the truth. The golden order must fall.